We are live. There we go. Hello again. Episode 8. Yeah. Let's get straight into things. We've had a really good chat just before we hit record, and now I feel like we've not nothing to talk about with actual people.
Yeah, I'm finished now.
Cool.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Brilliant. No, my absolute pleasure. That's like 3-second podcast. Thanks for coming.
I don't normally last that long.
I mean, I wouldn't.
New PB.
New PB. We ring the bell and everything.
Yeah.
Parties and streamers and confetti cannons and stuff.
Oh,
that's an intro. There we go. 3-second Charlie. In fact, that was my nickname for ages, so you can have that. There we go. Right. Anyway, so questions. Right, we were just talking through the questions we've had in this week. I've had a couple that I think might be fun to delve into. And Charlie's got a couple that he's had sort of from check-ins. So we're going to start off with one of yours, just because I started last week and we never really know who started first. So I actually checked that before we came on this week, because professional. Also this week, Charlie doesn't sound like he's in a tunnel, which is really cool.
Yeah, I've changed rooms.
It's amazing. It's much better.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's good.
So let's start with your first one. So that was, how do we keep progress over Christmas, I believe?
Yeah, so a client of mine asked, how do I keep weight loss progress over Christmas? And there are a few ways that I could look at this. So one is that you carry on doing the things you're doing. You have to be in a calorie deficit over the week, which is an important thing. So if you wanted to have a couple of days, like have Christmas, obviously, Boxing Day, for example, you could still be in a deficit either side of that if you don't have many social plans, which most of us don't. Shout out to Boris. So like you could easily have a couple of days of eating exactly what you want and then still be in a deficit for the week, a slight deficit or maintenance, and then crack on the next week as well, maybe have New Year's Eve off, and eating what you like. And you could still make considerable weight loss progress over Christmas. The other part of it is sort of where I'd come in, where my thinking sort of aligns with this, is why would you want to lose weight over Christmas? And so for me, it's sort of how do we reframe progress and what progress means over Christmas? And there are lots of different things which we could tick off as progress, and weight loss, it doesn't have to be the only one. So, for example, maintaining weight and having a couple of weeks of maintenance and a break from dieting, but still being in a good position to carry on in January, having not like thrown everything away, would be really good progress. Enjoying Christmas, enjoying social events, enjoying whatever you're allowed to do would be really good progress over Christmas for a lot of people. Being able to have food in the house and not eat all of it in the first day and just sort of enjoy it all, have no guilt or shame around it, which we're going to come on to in another question, that would be progress as well. So it's rather than I can't make any progress over Christmas, I think we need to realign what Christmas progress would look like and reframe that a little bit, and be content that there are more than one ways to measure progress and just weight loss.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a broad question, that, isn't it? Because what does progress look like? What's that mean to you? Like for me, progress is getting stronger and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think a period of a week or a couple of weeks over Christmas is going to make a really big difference to that. I'm not sure it would. I really don't think it would. If your progress is weight loss, then, or fat loss, or body composition change, whatever it is, again, a couple of weeks, you're really not going to lose that much in terms of progress, really. Like my spin on the thought is, when you started training or when you started being more mindful or careful or whatever the word you want to use is of your training, your nutrition, your self, as it were. What did you see results-wise in 2 weeks? Probably not a lot. You might have felt a bit better, but realistically, you probably weren't that much fitter, leaner, stronger, X. So realistically, 2 weeks of just taking your foot off the gas a little bit isn't going to make a huge difference. So I think, again, it just goes back to the kind of underlying tone that we have throughout these podcasts. Is just don't be a dick to yourself. Like, be a little bit cute and say, look, there's not a lot you can do. And by the way, I love the shout out to Boris a minute ago. Wouldn't it be great if Boris listened to this podcast and went, these two.
Imagine he does.
I think he might do. I think Matt Hancock listens to us, which is cool. I mean, or not, depending on where you spin it. But who knows? Maybe we should just punch this straight into Parliament and go, listen, I've got, hear me out. I've got a thing. I'll send you a T-shirt. which I'm working on, by the way. I was going to try and get that sorted for this week, and I failed miserably, so that'll be another one. But yeah, it's the whole, like, no one's really got plans this year. No one really knows what's going on. The whole year's turned on its head. So, like, just chill. You're going to be all right. I think that's...
Yeah, the only way you can lose all your progress is if you try and diet too hard, don't manage it because food's around, the social occasions, whatever, and then go fuck it and go absolutely mental. So if you give yourself a little bit more room and a bit more width to enjoy food, chances are you won't lose much progress. If you try and be too restrictive, too tight with food, that's when you'll blow it, because as soon as you go past what you've given yourself permission to eat, you're going to go fuck it and eat everything in sight.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only way you'll lose progress is if you go, well, it's pointless now, I'm going to give up. If you give yourself a little bit of room, go, actually, I'm going to tuck in here because there's pigs in blankets everywhere.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that's the best way to enjoy your Christmas, just to make sure you enjoy your Christmas.
Yeah, to eat all the pigs in blankets. Have you seen, now here's a topic of debate, have you seen Aldi are doing foot-long pigs in blankets?
I haven't, but I'm interested.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, though, because pigs in blankets are like the little dudes that you just sort of pop in. They're like, there's a foot one, which, don't get me wrong, I'd definitely try it. But I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Someone raised a good point on Instagram. Are they overrated?
Absolutely not.
But his reasoning was that the sausage is either well done but the bacon's burnt, or the other way around. And like, sausages are a bit like rubbish and the bacon's like really soggy and fatty and not that nice either. So trying to cook them perfectly is quite a difficult balance. I think if you get it right, they're not overrated, but often they're done badly.
I think if you get good sausages and good bacon,
that's also true. You've got to make your own, really, haven't you? I think.
Yeah. Like, visit your butcher, shop local. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Support small business.
Sponsored by Shropshire Gravy Boats.
What do you think I've got all my family for Christmas?
Everyone gets a gravy boat.
Yeah, honestly, mate, they'll have to use it for everything. Milk, orange juice, tea. They have to use gravy boats, yeah. Oh, imagine.
Mate, protein gravy boats.
That would be like, how upper class would you feel? Would Madam like a protein shake? And
that'd be amazing. That would be excellent.
Decent china.
I think for next week I'm going to get a gravy boat. I'm just going to sit with my coffee in it.
Well, if we have a couple of drinks and we do a live, we'll have to do that.
Definitely.
Have a gravy boat.
That'd be amazing. I feel like there was a tangent, and I don't know where that tangent started. But yeah, so in terms of progress over Christmas, yeah, what does that look like? What does progress mean? Take a couple of weeks, be nice to yourself, chill out, eat the food, drink the drink, and then go again. Just continue on from wherever you left off is kind of really it. I'd say 2 weeks, you're really not going to use that much. You're probably going to be okay.
Someone said to me, I'm actually looking forward to Christmas without like any anxiety about the food and stuff. Like one of my clients, that's progress to me.
That's wicked. Yeah. I like that a lot.
If you can go into Christmas, it's like, yeah, I'm completely in charge of what I'm going to eat. I know I'm going to eat this and drink this here, etc., etc. That's progress.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. When you just sort of take the fact that people get anxious about food troubles me a little bit. Like, it really does. And like, even at the minute, we're going to tangent off on this another point, I'm sure, but like, I'm in the middle of a thing at the minute where my training's taken a turn, so I can no longer do like properly heavy shit for a while. Basically, I've got quite a rubbish back injury, and I've got to strip a bit of timber down and see what happens and work on some rehab, because that, basically, I've been a dick and I've lifted a lot of stuff with an injury for like 4 years, and it's caught up with me, and now I need potentially surgery, which is great. So I'm being a little bit friendlier to myself. So I'm sort of cutting down some calories and losing a bit of weight and that kind of thing. But I mean, it's not going to be difficult to lose weight. I'm 140 kilos. So like, it's going to come off pretty rapid. And at the same time, like, I'm not stressing about it. Like, it's just, don't stress. It's all well and good saying, I'm very aware of what I'm saying. There's like, I'm all right, so therefore you should be all right. And I know that's not how it works. But I don't know. I feel like if you're in that boat of saying, well, it's all well and good you saying I'm all right, but I'm not all right, definitely drop Charlie an email, because he's your man to help out with that sort of thing. So in terms of like your kind of mindset stuff and approaching it that way, definitely drop him a note, because he'll help you out.
Yeah. I guess the other thing with progress is if you only give yourself one marker of progress, if that doesn't change, you feel like you failed. If you give yourself 9 or 10 different ways of measuring progress, then one or two scale weight might be the same, or measurements might stay the same 1 week. Like if you're female, and depending on where you are in the menstrual cycle, your weight might not change.
Yeah.
But if you've tackled all your food how you plan to, you've enjoyed a social occasion, you feel good for Christmas, and you're at peace with the fact that scale weight hasn't changed because you know why, that's progress. It doesn't have to just
we
be this
lost
one marker of, like, people are like, oh, I'm leaner and I've dropped a dress size, but I'm fed up with the scales. I'm just like, well, why? Yeah. But like as a tangent, female dress sizes baffle me, and like the concern about dress sizes, because most women will be like, yeah, I know they change from shop to shop. I'm like, yeah, and they'll be like, but I go, no,
there's no but.
No, but
You can end
like,
that sentence there.
Yeah. I, for example, as a bloke, I'm a medium. In fact, I wore a small not that long ago, and also an extra large at the same time, depending on what I'm wearing and where I'm shopping. Like, and I don't think the fuck that I've got an extra large again.
Yeah.
It's like I could literally go to my wardrobe, take this t-shirt off, and put a small on, and it just depends where you've bought it from.
Yeah. I mean, I personally fit an extra medium, so done all right. But I mean, no, I don't. I mean, women's dress. I've never had to buy anything in dress sizes. Weirdly,
considering charity shop once.
Considering I grew up at a rugby club, I find that baffling. I feel
that's why. Yeah, night out.
I did. But jeans get me.
Woman.
And again, this is a tangent. This is what gets my goat. Is the angry goat again from episode 3. But like jeans, if you've ever done more than a few sets of squats, you can't buy jeans. So like I'm a 38-inch waist, I have to buy sort of 42 and then get the hip, like the thing tailored in to fit my legs in them. It's ridiculous.
I've never done squats ever. I only ever do curls, so I fit in any jeans.
Amazing.
Honestly, mate.
But no,
financially, best decision.
Yeah, I found some good jeans in Gap. For anyone that's interested, Gap stretch athletic fit jeans.
Elasticated waist, particularly at Christmas. Elasticated waist.
100%. It's the way through.
That's something I can get on board with as a campaign.
It's why I live in shorts, to be fair. I just live in sport shorts.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went off on a massive tangent there. So there you go. Cool. So yeah, progress over Christmas. Just, you'll be all right. Crack on, do your thing, enjoy yourself, and then go again. That's a summary. Right, I'm going to be greedy, and I'm going to hijack the next 2 questions, because I feel like your other question will work better sort of tailing this off. And we can sort of loop back to that as well, so that's kind of cool. So I had 2 training questions, which is kind of cool. So M has asked, should I do strength training in the morning or the evening? And I think the swift answer to that is yes, you should.
We agreed yes before the podcast, didn't we?
Is the answer? Yes, you should.
As our consensus. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to throw in it depends. Drink. It depends on when you feel better to train. When you feel more awake, more able to train, when you've got the time, how you like the gym when you're training, all of these things play a factor in it. So personally, I'm fortunate enough that I get to train somewhere in the middle of the day. I've got all my clients first thing in the morning, I've got sessions late at night, I've got this lump of time in the middle of the day where I can train, do my admin, that kind of stuff. And that suits me. I quite like doing that because I've been awake for a bit, I've had my clients and I'm feeling good, I'll get my session in, go home, shower, eat, and then I'm back to work again. But if you have a 9 to 5 and you've got to be out of the house at whatever time you've got to be out of the house to get the train, not that anyone's doing that anymore these days, trains are so 2019. But like if you had to go out and commute and you can't get to the gym really, really early doors and that sort of thing, but you've got a little bit of time after work, go train in the evenings. That said, if you're working till 5 and you've got an hour commute home and then you've got to get home, cook dinner, pick the kids up, do whatever you've got to do, and you're not finishing your stuff until 9, half 9, probably just get up and train in the mornings. It's kind of whatever fits your schedule and how you feel. If you're in that latter group and you just feel like hell in the mornings, I'd probably say just get used to being up in the morning or get used to training later, like whichever one's going to work for you. But then how do you like your gym? Feels like a weird question, but if you go in the evening, it's heaving. There's everyone. So if you've got all your mates in there and Big Dave and Frank and Brenda are in there and they're doing their thing and shifting big old weights and you like to get involved with that crowd, go do you. Like that's all you. If you like it a little bit quieter and you just want to get on and get your shit done, probably the morning's better because most of the time there's people there in the morning, they just want to get their shit done. So, do you train AM or PM? I don't think it really matters. In fact, I'm pretty damn sure it doesn't matter. You mentioned a study that got done about people being more productive for evening training or later in the day. And they asked me this question the other day, and I actually went off and did some research to see if there was any. I found that same study, and it's essentially just the people that they used were in that sort of first camp of people that when they woke up in the morning, they were battered, went to work, did their day, came back in the evening, and they felt pretty good. So they felt better training in the evening, which is where that study came from. But there's no real studies to show better or worse in the evenings or the morning. I think in terms of progress, going back to that, or sort of getting the most out of your training, from a nutrition point of view, I think there's, going back to last week where we were talking about getting food in pre and post workout, there might be a small benefit if you can stomach breakfast and you can get a bit of protein in before you work out. Great. If you can't, great. I'm not sure it matters a massive amount, to be honest with you, but we're not talking elite athletes. So yeah, I really don't think it matters. Just go train when you feel good. Get your session in. That's basically it. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah. Like you said, if you train in the evening, there's potential benefit of a couple of extra meals before you've trained, which might have some sort of performance benefit for some people. But if you're not an elite athlete, then you don't generally have the luxury of choice. Like that's their job. They pick when they feel good to train and train. You don't. You pick when you can train. I train best in the afternoon generally, but I train in the morning because I can't train in the afternoon. Because work, like you said, the gyms are busy and stuff. The thing is, it's not like a trade-off between like training best or nothing, like training at all or nothing.
Yeah.
So for me, like I sacrifice some performance in the morning because I'm not an elite athlete. I'm just nobody trying to stay in some relative shape.
I feel like this is why I need to intervene on that and go, no, you're not.
You can, mate, but you're wrong. Yeah.
DM me, hon.
I sacrifice performance and train in the morning because it's whether I get it done or not if I train in the morning. If I leave it longer, chances are something else comes up in the day and I can't get it done.
Yeah.
5 o'clock, nothing else. No one else wants me at 5 o'clock in the morning. If I'm up at 5 in the morning, I don't want me, let alone anyone else wanting me.
Yeah, reasonable.
So yeah, I get it done in the morning, even though I train better in the afternoon because it works better with my other priorities like work and a life, which are bigger priorities for me than my training.
Yeah, I get that. And plus, I mean, I find sort of getting up at 5 is not that bad when you're up.
No.
I'm saying this having just stifled a yawn, but I'm blaming that on my 4-month-old. But it's like once you're up. Just go about your business. And especially now, like whatever time you get up until about 8:39, it's fucking dark anyway, so you might as well just get up. But yeah, there's definitely an air of discipline in that as well, and just kind of up and get it done. But yeah, so train in the morning or evening, yes, just go train, just go do, you'll be all right. Yeah, that. And then the next training question I had, I can't remember who asked me this. It was something that popped up a while back, and I had an answer for it then, and I remembered it earlier, so I wanted to put it in. Someone asked me, should they start their workout with weights or cardio? I feel like if you're in the bank that wants to start your session with cardio, you're in the wrong podcast. Like you come to the wrong room. I'm definitely going to say start with weights. One, because I'm massively biased, and weights is the way forward. And why would you want to do cardio? That's a ridiculous idea. I mean, just ridiculous. Do more than 5 reps, and you're doing cardio. That's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. But to kind of give a more thingy, like a more specific point on that, I feel like if you're starting your session, and I'm basing this on the assumption that people that listen to this are strength athletes. If you're a runner, then maybe you want to do your cardio before your weights because that's your primary system to hit. If you're doing weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman, if you're just trying to get stronger, whatever your thing is, if your goal is to get stronger, go do the weights first. If you do your cardio first, if you jump on and do a 20-minute medium intensity kind of steady state something or other, by the time you get into the weight room, you've done 20 minutes of something, you burnt all that energy off, and you're going to have less to spend in the weight room. So I would say go down to the weights room first, smash out that session, and then get your 20 minutes in if you've got that at the end of it. Also, cardio can be done anytime. That could just be your steps. Like if you're going out for a walk, just get just go slightly further, slightly faster. That could be your cardio. With my training, and again, it's purely anecdotal. This is just what I do as a thing. So I'll go and I'll get all my sessions done. So I'll get my meat and potato work done, squats, deads, cleans, snatches, presses, pulls, whatever it's going to be. And then towards the end of the session, I'll work smaller muscle groups. So things like bicep curls and the other important things, I'll get those done. And then at the end of it, there'll be like a 10-minute conditioning, and there'll be intervals on the assault bike or some kettlebell work or tire flips or like a yoke run or something like that. But I tend to put a little bit of conditioning at the end of my session, because that's when I've got a little bit of energy to burn. I can get rid of it in that last bit. I've done my cardio. I'm good to go. So yeah, again, I think it depends a little bit on your goal, but realistically, by and large, I'd say head to the weights room first for those reasons.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you're going to fuel for something, like if we talked about that pre-training nutrition stuff, like do the most important stuff first while you're fueled for it. Like don't, cardio won't take much of it, but it's going to take something. Why waste some of it on something where the primary goal is probably for a lot of people doing cardio to burn more calories, or to like just to try and maintain that system so that it actually doesn't impact their weightlifting. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. I think, and also quite an interesting parallel that sort of just occurred to me, that how many people will do the cardio after their weights and just be like, yeah, I only do 20 minutes because like I'm a lifter and it's not that important, but it's kind of important. Like most people will be like that. But then if you try and say to you like, oh, weight loss isn't a priority, they're like, oh God, why can't I prioritize this thing all of the time? You're like, well, you don't do that when you're lifting. Yeah. Like at lifting, different times of the year, you'll prioritize different things.
Yeah.
And like diet's exactly the same, in that you'll sometimes have a priority of weight loss, like, and you shouldn't pick around doing that. You should do it as quick as. And sometimes it's not a priority. Sometimes tracking's a priority. Sometimes it's not at all. Like, if weight loss was a priority all the time, or tracking, like, if you went all-inclusive holiday, you'd waste it. I'd be so angry at that person. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's just a time and a place for everything. It just depends what you're prioritizing at that time. But yeah, I agree that you should get what you want to do, what's the most important thing done first, just from like an energy perspective, but also like concentration and focus and stuff. No one feels the same 2 hours into a session as they did when they started it. I don't think.
No.
So, like, particularly for your stuff, which is like incredibly technical, why try and do that with any sort of element of slight fatigue or lack of concentration? Like, you want to give it everything.
Yeah. It's one. I think the caveat to this is if you're going in and you're using cardio as a warm up. I mean, that kind of thing. So my thing, if I go into the gym and I'm just not feeling it, if I've got a session to do, drag my ass to the gym, kicking and screaming, get into the thing, spend 15 minutes making a coffee and making sure it's exactly the right temperature and I've got the right pod and faffing, and invariably I'll have to hoover the gym at that point because it's really dusty in there. And if I've wasted that amount of time on a thing, I'll just go, right, just get like rowing machine out and just do a quick 5-10 minute warm up on the rowing machine. Get your heart rate going, get your blood pumping, and then see how you feel. Mm-hmm. And then again, and this is an incredibly privileged position for me to be in because I own my own gym. If after that 10 minutes I just feel like actually I could do with another half an hour of just not need to gather my thoughts, wait for the coffee to hit, and I can do that, and I can come back later and do the session. If you're not in that position and you've done your 10 minutes, your 15-minute cardio warm-up, and you're still just feeling a little bit trashed, maybe have a rest day. Like, if you generally go into the gym and you just feel like hell after 10, 15 minutes, you're thinking, you know you're going to be kicking your ass around the gym for that session. This goes back to question one's answer. Just be nice to yourself. Maybe just give that a rest day, train the next day. If you had a rest day planned tomorrow, you can definitely switch them around. If you're just not feeling it today, if you're fatigued from yesterday's session or other things that are going on, postpone it. Like, you're going to be all right. But that, I think the cardio at the start of a session is plausible if it's just a little warm up. But if you're just gunning it in to do your cardio before your weight session, I think you've got it wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I guess if you're doing it for cardio, you don't want to be doing like the length of your cardio is surely going to be longer than a warm up for someone. Generally, you probably look at 20 minutes plus. Yeah. You don't want to be warming up for 20 minutes because you're pissing around doing nothing. Then you're warm at that point. So yeah, I think splitting it if you wanted to. Particularly if you're just doing it for energy expenditure, it doesn't matter when you do it. So if you wanted to do 5 or 10 minutes at the start as part of your warm up, 5-10 minutes at the end afterwards, then is the best way to do it. But yeah, if you're like you said, if you take a rest day or if you're going off RPEs or like reps in reserve anyway, just work within that and just don't be that fussed if the weight's not the same because you feel shit. Do the movement. Movements are important. And if there's less on the bar, it's less on the bar. And that's how it is that day.
That's a really important point. I had that conversation with one of my juniors yesterday at the club, in that he's not been coming down for long, and he was trying to do snatch, and it's a movement that he struggles with because everyone struggles with snatch because it's a ridiculous movement. And it was RPE 7, sets of 3 at RPE 7 on the board. So I'm saying like, RPE 7 is a kind of middle of the road. It's a 400 meters distance in the sense of it's just a little bit too long to be comfortable, but it's not fast enough to be a sprint. It's somewhere in the middle. So that's like sets of 3 RPE 7. It's that kind of point. And my sort of point to him was it's completely subjective. Like your 7 out of 10 today might be next week's 9 out of 10. It might be next week's 4 out of 10. Doesn't matter. Just work to whatever your percentage is today and then go from that. So I think that's quite an important point to know as well, is just understanding those RPEs, that they are completely subjective. But like I say, today's RPE might be 50 kilos, and then next week is going to be 40, and I'm going to go, oh, I feel so weak, I feel like shit. But actually, realistically, the next week I've got an awful lot on, so I'm probably going to be stressed to hell by the time I get to next week's training. It's probably got to be expected. So, yeah, good point. That's a good point.
Thank you.
That joke. There you go.
Oh.
You couldn't see that on Spotify, but I pointed my finger and said, good point.
He's a dad now, so you can make jokes like that.
I am a dad. I've had 4 months of amazing jokes. Amazing jokes. I might just start doing dad jokes in these podcasts. Just get as many.
I do them, but without the requisite parenthood. I'm not a dad, but I will make the same jokes. And they were like, oh, that's a dad joke. But yeah.
I mean, you could be one of those people that has like a house plant instead of a kid. I'd recommend that, by the way. Definitely recommend
Easier to clean and stuff. I had one, but it died. But then also, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, yeah. Social services are going to come knocking at your door if your plant dies. But like, you know, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But yeah, houseplant. It's the way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the way forward. Anyway, we're going to cut that question off. And then, so yeah, the last one was your, like I say, we kind of loop back to it. So this was, inverted commas, bad food in your house over Christmas. How do you like not eat it all? So it seems to be this whole thing of people going, well, I'm going to start a diet on the 1st of January, so got to eat all the shit in my house first. You know, and they're just smashing down tubes of Pringles and Twiglets and Christmas snacks and that kind of thing. You've eaten 20,000 calories in 48 hours in just snacks, but you have to do that because starting tomorrow, can't have any food in the house. Which is just, it's not really a question, it's just an interesting topic to talk around because there's definitely going to be people that will resonate with.
Yeah, so I guess, I mean, people struggle with it all year round and say like, oh, I can't have 2 squares of chocolate without having a whole bar of chocolate, or I can't have a little bit of ice cream without having the whole tub. And there is an argument for not having those foods around, like changing your food environment works, because you can't eat if it's not there. But there are times, like at Christmas, where you can't control that. And that was the subject of my email the other day, actually, where like, it's the same as saying, oh, if I cheat on someone if I have too much to drink, so I'm not going to drink more than 3 beers. Brilliant, but that's not really changed the actual underlying cause of why you're doing something.
Yeah.
So eventually you're going to have more than 3 beers, and then what? So maybe actually address the issue itself rather than just address the external stuff to try and control it. And it's the same with food. Like in Christmas, a prime example, you can't control. If you're a parent or a family, like most of my clients are, you can't say like, kids, no, don't want to eat this, so you're not eating it either. Like imagine how that goes down at Christmas. Not well. So yeah, so you have to be able to control your food intake while the food's there. There are a few different things you can do with that. So one is, first step is you need to stop telling yourself that you can't do it. Because if you tell yourself that, then you believe it and you'll do it. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that, oh, well, I can't have a square of chocolate without having a whole bar. Well, you're either telling yourself that you believe that, or you're just saying that so you don't have to try. It's just an excuse to not even have a go at it. Like you're just like, well, I'm not going to try because I'm going to fail, which is an awful attitude to have with anything in life.
Yep.
So the first thing you need to do is stop telling yourself, oh, actually, yeah, when I do this, I always do this, because that isn't the case. Second thing you need to do is give yourself evidence that you can do it. So just once, have 2 squares of chocolate and put it away. Distract yourself by going out for the day, or go for a walk, or do something else for an hour. And you've got one piece of evidence that actually I can do this, and I don't always go for a whole bar of chocolate, have a little bit. Next day, do it again, and then maybe do it again. And over time, you build up this like bank of evidence. So actually, I'm very capable of not eating everything in sight once I have a little bit of it. Some of the things which happen, people tell themselves it's bad and make themselves feel guilty about eating certain foods. And if you do that, we talked about this last week, maybe week before. We've talked about it a lot. You tell yourself that something's bad, and then you have a little bit, but you think, well, that was awful. I'm an awful person. I'm going to eat all of it, and then you eat all of it. So stop doing that and just be like, oh, chocolate, and just eat chocolate, and just be like, that was nice. I like chocolate. I'm going to move on now. Which is what I do when I eat chocolate. Just being like, well, it's not a bad thing that I eat this food. There's nothing. No one's died. I've just had some chocolate.
I like the idea that you might say that out loud. Have 2 spoons of chocolate. That's chocolate. I like chocolate, and then just get on with it.
A toddler would. But the thing is, that probably actually would work better, because most people's problems with snacking are mindless snacking, and that you don't even know you're doing it. You don't even know that the packet of nuts is there while you're watching TV, and then you look down, and like your hand's covered in crumbs, and all the nuts have gone. You think, well, what the fuck happened there? Like, I didn't even know they were there. So different strategies to bring it into your consciousness and think, oh, actually, like for some of my clients to start with, I'll say, you can have all the snacks you want, go and sit at the table with them with no other distraction and eat them. And actually, when you do that, you find it's much easier to check in and go, am I hungry? Am I still enjoying these? Do I want these? I'm going to go and put them back. It's when you've got loads of other distractions, you're not mindful of what's going on. That's when it becomes really difficult to control it. So that's an example of how you can do that at Christmas, and that you can eat a little bit of chocolate and not eat all of it. If you go and take it somewhere and just go, right, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm really mindful of what's happening here, how I'm tasting this, how it tastes, how hungry I am, how much I'm enjoying it. And then when I stop enjoying it, I'll stop eating it. Yeah. And that's very, very much within your capabilities, whoever's listening to this. And the last thing that I will say to clients is that make sure that what you're eating in terms of Christmas snacks, you're enjoying it. Yeah. Like, how much crap do we have in the house? Like, I eat tub after tub of Heroes celebrations, things like that. Most of them, they're not even that nice. I don't even enjoy them that much. I just think, why the bloody hell are you eating that? And then you think, well, actually, I'd really like to have this cake, but I've probably not got room in my calories. I mean, there's a chance I'm massively going to overeat it. Whereas if you just go, well, actually, I'm not going to touch chocolates. I really don't want them. I'm not hungry for them. It's not going to serve me at all because it doesn't make me less hungry, and I'm not going to enjoy them. So I'm just going to leave them. Yeah. But this gatto is coming up, and boy, do I like gatto. I'm going to eat as much gatto as physically possible, and I'm going to enjoy it, and then I'm going to stop when I've stopped enjoying it. That's completely different, and again, it's putting you back in charge and feeling like you've got a little bit more autonomy with all your food, and going, actually, yeah, I can control this. I know I can do this. I'm just going to be selective with what I'm going to eat.
Yeah. Again, yeah. I mean, this is the reason I wanted to wrap up with that one, because you and I shared the same thought on that, and I couldn't have said it better. So yeah, I agree what he said. The whole notion of if I have this, I have to have the rest is just kind of, I don't know. I think I don't even think there is just an air of discipline behind it. If you're trying to do a thing, it's like what matters more to you is chunking the whole thing of after eights down more important than you not feeling like a dick for having the whole packet of after eights, or like the kind of progress you're going to make and that kind of thing. And it's everyone lacks over Christmas. Everyone's diet lapses, and unless you're some superhuman or like elite athlete where you're still training, you foolishly booked a competition for January sometime. Human. So I think this is more prominent now over Christmas because everyone's got snacks. Everyone's got Twiglets and Pringles and cheese balls and chocolate advent calendars and that sort of thing. But that's an example. On the chocolate advent calendar, you open a door, you have your chocolate, you put it back, you open the next door tomorrow. You don't just pull the tray out the back of the calendar, eat all the chocolates, and then get really disappointed for the rest of the month. So I think that in itself is an example of have your line or your square of chocolate, put it back in the cupboard. Same, just that this one's got some little doors on it. So I don't know, maybe you could like jazz up a chocolate bar and put numbers on. I don't know, probably don't do that. But it's just another example. Like we can do that for an entire month through December, and then the rest of the year it goes tits up because it's not in a little doored bar. But I don't know. I feel like that's a good one to tail off on. So yeah, happy with that.
Yeah.
Cool. I feel like actually this week was actually I feel like we've actually quite informative this week.
Yeah. We've done
I feel like
the nutrition and the training. Yeah.
I feel like we've let our listeners down a little bit. Like we might have actually helped people.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all right. Episode 9, we'll try better. We'll try harder. There'll be more talks of paramedics licking people and gravy boats and weird sponsors. We'll have that. That's a good.
Yeah.
There were paramedics at the end of the road when I drove home today at the shop.
Were there?
Yeah, man. They were parked outside the shop. So I don't know. Maybe they were in the back of the ambulance licking people. Maybe that's the thing.
Maybe. Was it unofficial work or were they just shopping?
They had blue lights on, so I'm assuming it was official.
Oh.
Or
really important shopping.
Yeah, really important shopping. The wife phoned and said you forgot the milk. That's bad.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
If I had blue lights, I would have used them in that conversation.
Toilet roll, for example, if you realise you've got none.
That's definitely a blue light scenario. That is.
Like, yeah.
I feel like you need one of those hats with a little siren on it. Just. This could take a weird turn. Right, I'm going to wrap it there.
Yes.
As per usual, if you want any help from us, this is the bit, by the way, where we're going to plug ourselves. So if you're not interested, go away. If you are, Charlie, that one, the handsome one, he can help you with your food and nutrition and stuff. He's also been very modest. If you're not watching this on YouTube, he's looked away there, so you can see his side profile. This is good side. He's at CB_Nutrition_ on Instagram. Drop him a note, sign up to his emails. He knows his shit. He's pretty good at nutrition and helping you that way. I'm at Night Strength or at Redbeard Barbell Club on Instagram. I'm terrible at nutrition, but I'm quite good at training. So if you want to have your training, or you're looking to get into strength sports, or you have competitions coming up, that sort of thing, or just want a bit of a hand with some programming or some technique critiquing, that sort of thing, drop me a note. More than happy to help out. That said, get some questions in. We're going to look at, I don't know, we'll probably get one of these in again before Christmas, because we can get the Tuesday in.
We're going to try, aren't we?
We're going to give it a bash, yeah, but no promises. The next one will be out when it be out. I'm going with that. It's definitely English somewhere. So the next one will be out when it be out, and then look out for that one. But in the meantime, get your questions in, and we'll look to answer those. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Cracking. Nice. Right, I'm going to stop recording before I waffle on anymore. Thank you very much again, Mr. Man, and I will
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate.
Mm-hmm.